Hi class, and welcome to my presentation of Kratom. I'm going to go a little bit on the back story of Kratom. So here's the history. Kratom comes from a tropical tree called Mitragyna speciosa. It is mostly grown in Southeast Asian countries such as Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. People in these areas have used Kratom for hundreds of years as part of traditional medicine. Workers would chew on the leaves to boost their energy, stay awake during long hours, and ease muscle pain. That's what it helped with. Kratom didn't become well known in the United States until the early 2000s. That is when that is when it started being sold online and in smoke shops as an herbal supplement. I believe they even sold them as little vials like of the tea that they would drink. So they would sell them like that, or they still do sell them like that. People started abusing it when they discovered that taking higher doses could act like opioids. This means it could create a sense of euphoria, reduce pain, or even help people deal with withdrawal symptoms when coming off of much stronger drugs. So it would assist or aid in withdrawal symptoms, which can be pretty bad. So there are three different types of kratom. I know there's a fourth one, which is the yellow gold, which is not too common, but they identify them based on their veins. So the red vein is often used for relaxation and pain relief. The white vein is used when energy and focus is wanted. The green vein usually has a balanced effect, so it's like in between focused and relaxation. So it'll give you both of those like in between. So we're going to delve a little bit into the description and mechanism of action. So kratom contains more than 40 active chemicals, but the two main ones are mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine. These chemicals interact with several systems in the brain. They partially activate opioid receptors, hence why kratom can reduce pain and create a more calming effect. At low doses, kratom tends to act more like a stimulant. Instead of making the body slow down, it can make people feel more alert and mentally sharp. Many people that use kratom report having high energy, talking excessively, and feeling an overall boost in social interaction. This stimulating effect is one reason some individuals use kratom to stay focused or get through long or tiring tasks, such as long shifts at work. At higher doses, it switches and acts more like a sedative or an opioid, slowing things down, reducing anxiety or pain. Neurotransmitters that are affected when taking kratom are dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and the opioid pathways. So kratom interferes with several major brain chemicals. Dopamine, which affects pleasure and motivation, serotonin, which affects mood, norepinephrine, which controls alertness and focus, and opioid pathways, which control pain and reward. Because it touches so many systems at once, they're all affected at the same time, the effects can be unpredictable, especially with different strains and doses, since you don't know how much you're taking and it's not regulated yet. The main symptoms that your body feels, kratom affects almost every part of the body. So the desired effects that people want to feel at lower doses that they use, it's the increased energy and alertness and pain relief. Also relaxation or mild sedation. The negative ones come unwarranted and they come kind of like unwanted, but they do happen, is the nausea, sweating, and dry mouth, constipation, just like any opioid, fast or irregular heartbeat, confusion, seizures, or in rare cases, coma at very high doses. And since it's not approved for FDA, through the FDA, you don't really know what dosage you're going into. So we'll get into that a little bit later. Long-term heavy use may lead to dependence and withdrawal symptoms like opioids, though usually milder. How kratom affects the nervous system, the important functions of the nervous system. The nervous system controls thoughts, memories, and emotions, movement, sensation, breathing, digestion, and your heartbeat through automatic pathways. The major components that it affects in the nervous system is the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves and neurons. Part 2 of how kratom affects the nervous system. Neurons communicate with each other using neurotransmitters. These signals control everything from muscle movement to mood regulation. How kratom uniquely affects the nervous system. Kratom latches onto multiple kinds of receptors in the brain. Kratom latches onto the same opioid receptors as heroin does, just a little less, making kratom attaches like a little weaker, well, a lot weaker than heroin does, but it does attach to the same kind of receptors in the brain. This makes the signaling between neurons slower in some pathways, like pain and sedation, or faster in others, like alertness at low doses. Because it does not fully activate opioid receptors, its effects are kind of a mixed signal, which explains why kratom can be both stimulating and sedating depending on the dosage, which not many drugs do. It's either an upper or a downer. With kratom, it can be both. The DEA schedule for kratom. Now, right now in the world, kratom is not officially listed as a controlled substance by the DEA. It is considered a drug of concern by the DEA, which basically means that they are watching it closely because of the safety issues and the misuse of it, the abuse. Although it isn't banned completely at federal levels, it is banned in some states and cities that can make their own laws. There's a lot of debate behind what should happen next with the drug. Some people think kratom should be placed in Schedule 1, which is the same category as drugs like heroin or LSD. Because of its high risk for addiction or abuse, others argue against that and say more research is needed before making such a big decision. Some bonus facts. The traditional use in Southeast Asia, people sometimes drink kratom as a tea during spiritual or healing ceremonies. How to be. Some people today use kratom to help with chronic pain, anxiety, or withdrawals. The problem with this is that using it is unpredictable because it hasn't been tested to see how pure it is or how safe doses really are. If it became legal everywhere, making it legal, approving it through the FDA, can help make it safer to use, prevent any contamination, and support the farmers that grow it. But it could also lead to more people becoming dependent on it if rules aren't put in place, such as abuse. The culture and online talk behind it. In many online recovery groups, people call it the green alternative or the natural opioid, even though it isn't one. This shows how common it is, and this shows how common it has become in conversations about addiction and recovery. At low doses, the fun fact, at low doses, kratom acts more like a coffee. No surprise because it's part of the coffee family. In conclusion, kratom is a plant or a leaf that comes from a tree with a long history in Southeast Asia, only growing somewhat common in the US, and unlike most other drugs, it can boost energy at low doses but slow the body down at higher doses, making it unique. It affects multiple neurotransmitters and has both potential benefits and serious risks. Understanding it means looking at culture, biology, policy, and public health all at once. Kratom can be a very deadly drug, and like I explained, it affects neurotransmitters in our body, it's unpredictable, and you have really bad side effects when it comes to, like all the symptoms and all that. I hope you enjoyed listening, and thank you.